it true that 3 months after Elvis got married that he went to Ann Margaret's opening in Las Vegas? And did you go on that trip?
I think we did.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Is that when she did the
remember.
motorcycle, when she came out on the motorcycle on stage? When I know we went to several of her shows with him, but
probably we went on the opening.
I don't think he ever really forgot about her.
Well, that was the next question. So do you think that he still loved her even though he was married and she had gotten married? Do you think he still
believe it
cared
or
about her?
not, he got married, and I think it was like 1 month later
She got married.
she got married.
Gotcha.
But she had been seeing
Roger
Smith, who was
Okay.
an actor, you know, and she had been seeing him for a good while. So,
You know, I think, that's just me, but I think that all the women that he was involved with for any length of time, you know, like starting back with Anita and on through, I think he always loved them. You know, he loved them. He just didn't want to be with them, you know, for the rest of his life. But he loved them all. He was never...
he loved them, but I think he loved his career at that time more.
But he loved being Elvis.
Elvis, yeah.
You know, I've said that before, but he did. He loved being Elvis.
All right. Julie Neeson asks, are there any relatives on the Smith side of the family besides Patsy that you know of that Priscilla or Lisa has associated with in recent years?
The Smith side?
On the Smith side, anybody other than Patsy and Patsy's kids?
I know probably Patsy's kids, Jimmy and Dina, and
But she was not on the Smith side. Well, yeah,
Patsy
she was.
on both sides.
Yeah, as a cousin.
Yeah,
Right.
she was as a cousin. She was Vester and Cletus's daughter. But
daughter.
Jimmy and Dina and
Well, she was on both sides.
Yeah, she was actually
She was a double
first.
double first cousin,
Okay.
that we call.
But that's the only one
But
I
that's
can
probably
think of.
it as far as that included the Smith
Yeah,
side.
because other than us, I don't remember a lot of the Smith side that came up there a whole lot. Off and on they would, like Johnny's kids, you know, and Wayne and Wayne Mann and
Yeah.
some of those, but and Bobby Jane, Wayne's sister, Bobby Jane, but they were, well, Bobby Jane was on the Smith side because that was Aunt Lillian's daughter, but I don't know, I don't remember a whole lot of the others that I don't know if Priscilla ever really, I think Bobby Jane died. Bobby Jane passed away before Elvis did, so she wouldn't have had any contact with other than Patsy and her kids. Do you think?
I don't think
I can't
so.
think of anybody else.
All right, Liz Trogwin sent a question and said, how long did Elvis date Barbara Hearn?
I don't know. Barbara could answer that better than I could.
At least a year. Or
I would think maybe a year, maybe longer. I'm really not sure. I know after he bought Graceland, that they were, not going together at that time. So,
but she was. I've seen pictures of her on Audubon.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
God, yeah.
A real pretty girl.
But like I say, she's still alive, and they could ask her.
When did he date Bonnie Bunkley? I remember Bonnie talking to Bonnie a lot. And when I first started going with you,
Yeah.
she was at the fairgrounds with him when I went with you on a date. And there was a picture of Elvis and somebody named Bonnie, and Billy knows who it is, that said on Facebook, and it had on there that this was Elvis's first fiance or something like that. And I said, that's not Bonnie Bunkley. And he said it was another Bonnie, and it wasn't Elvis's fiance because she was married at the time.
Her name was Bunny Underwood.
Underwood.
And her husband, unless I'm badly mistaken, was named Charlie Underwood.
Okay.
And so, but he met Bunny Bunkley, I think, in the summer of '57.
Did she go to Whitehaven School,
Yes.
Bonnie Bunkley?
Mhm.
I remember her.
Yeah, I knew
She had a
her
brother,
brother named Bobby.
Bobby Bunkley.
Also,
But anyway,
I know he's watched our videos and reached out before, but Barbara Hearn's nephew. If you happen to catch the video and see and want to maybe put in the comments
Yeah.
what her answer is and talk to her, that would be great.
Real nice, nice now. She's a real nice lady.
Well, that's
I
what
wasn't,
Liz said. She was at the Dolan House at one of the events.
at one of the events.
Yeah. But I wasn't, around Elvis a whole lot in '56 because he was
School.
school and touring and movies and all that. So I didn't know
You were
how
only
long.
13 too.
Yeah.
You weren't able to.
So I don't
allowed
know
to
how
travel.
long he went with her, but I remember Barbara, and I'm pretty sure she remembers me, but very nice and very pretty woman.
All right.
Any-
Brenda Williams asked, as far as the song "If I Can Dream," why didn't he ever sing it at the concerts? Everybody seems to love that song. Did he ever give a reason why he chose not to sing it?
No,
I don't.
and I don't know that he didn't sing it in concerts, maybe in Vegas. I don't know. I'll be honest. At that time, I wasn't with Elvis. I was working at the railroad because,
Gotcha.
Danny and Joey, they had started school, and I just couldn't travel at that time with
And
them,
your
so.
daddy was.
And Daddy was sick too. So
Gotcha. It is a pretty song, though.
It
it
is.
is beautiful.
It is.
song.
Okay. Elaine Parkinson asked, did Elvis ever talk about the time that his airplane landed at Prestwick Airport in Scotland on the way back to the U.S. from the Army discharge? It would have been March 3rd, 1960.
He flew on what?
It says that his airplane was said to have landed at Prestwick Airport in Scotland on the way back to the United States after he was discharged from the Army in 1960.
I wouldn't.
I never heard him talk about
I
it.
wouldn't think so. I mean, the Army had its own planes, and it flew its own troops.
They may have stopped there.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what she's saying. Did he mention, like, when he was discharged, not his plane, but the military plane he was on?
Oh,
like
it could have been, yeah.
Yeah, did he ever say anything about stopping in
I
Scotland?
never heard
or-
him mention it, but
Okay.
I tell you, there's a person that you probably could ask, and that would be Rex Manfield.
Okay.
Who was he was a buddy of Elvis's in the Army, and I think they came back pretty much the same time.
I thought Rex passed away. I don't know.
May have. I don't know.
Okay. We can look into that though, but
Yeah.
I think that's what she's saying. Not his air, but that he was
the plane
on.
he was
yeah.
on.
If he just mentioned a stop in Scotland, and also what did he think about his British fans?
He loved all his
loved
things.
him. He loved all his fans. He wanted to
Back
tour over there bad, and
He really did, didn't he?
yeah, Germany,
He
France,
talked to us
England,
about that.
gosh, all
He wanted to go over
Japan,
there.
all in places, and of course he just never,
Colonel.
never got a chance to, but he loved all his fans,
Gotcha.
It didn't make any difference what country they were from,
No.
All right. Linda Kaler asked, did Vernon ever, that you know of, did Vernon ever ask Minnie Mae to move in with him and Dee, or did she want to always live with Elvis?
I don't think Elvis would have let go of her.
No, she come there, with Elvis, and she lived with him on Audubon Drive, and and when she came there, she lived there. I don't think she would have moved from
Would have
Graceland. I
moved.
think
No,
she
Elvis
loved
provided
it
for
there.
her and,
Right.
and
Took care of her, yeah.
yeah.
And he loved her, he was crazy about her.
All right. Reba Hunt sent in a couple of questions, and the first one says, does Billy have any family pictures of Elvis that have never been seen in public?
No, I don't.
I mean, you don't have any that you...
No.
I mean, you
no.
might, if you do. I mean, not that she's not asking you to show any. She's just saying, do y'all have any that have never been seen?
I don't.
No, we didn't. Back then,
People didn't have the money to
we
take
didn't have
pictures
money.
and get them
yeah.
developed and all that. Once in a while, they
Cameras
had
too, you know.
cameras. Yeah. There's not a lot of pictures of your grandparents or your daddy and mother when they were young, real young. There's a couple of your mother's parents, and but back in those days, people didn't, take a lot of pictures.
Well, they weren't very easy to get probably developed or...
No.
And
they didn't have, and what do you call them? The instant.
Right, digital and instant.
Yeah.
You answered this one on Facebook, but just for...
No, I didn't.
Just for everybody, or anybody that's not on Facebook, it says, in Lottie Miss Claudie, Elvis says, goodbye, Tarnell, darling. I'm curious about what originated that phrase, or what's it all about.
Well, in the original song,
It
had that in it. He was singing it to somebody. And
Gotcha.
When did they change the lyrics to it or something?
and
cut out that part.
goodbye, little darling. They changed it, and he finally come up with the one he thought he'd just throw it in. Goodbye, Tarnell, darling.
Yeah.
But that was in the original song, so he just thought he had added it in.
Just added it in.
I'm about to slide off my chair. And a lot of Elvis's songs, people tend to think that he's referring to somebody, and really he's not. It's just that those songs came along. Sometimes he may have, but it's those songs came along at the time he was going through this or going through that. They automatically thought, oh, he's talking about this, and he's that's not true, because the songs were written and he, not by him but by other people.
Right.
So that's
Gotcha.
like.
Sharon Dean says, Elvis loved a lot of women. Billy, did Elvis ever mention who his very first real love was to you?
Probably the one that he made up the marriage certificate when he left Tupelo.
In Tupelo, yeah. But, no, he really never talked about, marriage at all, hardly,
Or his true love.
His true love, yeah.
I'm sure each one probably thought at the time they were.
So what was the marriage certificate?
He was moving to Memphis, and he had
He was going with this girl.
or it was his girlfriend.
His girlfriend
He wasn't
when he was
old enough to be
little,
going.
yeah.
Well, he was
13.
13, okay.
And they made up one that I saw it on Facebook. I never had heard him say it or tell it, but I saw it on there where they had made one. I forgot what her name was, but he was leaving that school that he went to, and that was his girlfriend.
Okay.
So
they were...
fake.
I got you. Alright. Since I know Billy had a band when he was a teenager, do you still hear from any of those guys?
Yeah, a couple of them. I still hear from Bobby Stewart and Jackie Cooper.
Okay.
Jackie played the drums, and Bobby played the lead guitar.
Okay.
Jerry Cochran was never in your band, was he?
Yeah, later he was.
Was he? I was just wondering. Jerry passed away 2 or 3 years ago.
He played lead guitar.
He
too.
played
after,
lead
after
guitar.
Bobby left. Bobby
And he
Stewart
was a
left,
good friend of yours.
Yeah. Real good friend.
Alright. And in one of our past 2 or 3 videos, We had a question that said, what did Elvis think of your band, or did he hear you play? And you answered those questions and said, basically, he said you do it on your own.
I had made a record, it was like a demo demo record, which was never, put out. But anyway, he listened to it and he said, well, it's like this. He said, if you're looking for any help from me, you're not going to get it. He said, because just like me, if you make it, you'll make it on your own. And which he was right. I didn't make it.
Right. Did you had mentioned that video that you still had that demo somewhere here at the house, and they asked if one day you might play that record
Never.
on the video and let them hear
It's,
it.
Never.
it's very good.
Never.
What I did, I took it because it was just in a paper sleeve, and I took it and I put it down in one of Elvis's albums with one of his records, and he has how many hundreds and hundreds of albums, and
Right.
I got so
like a
many
record
albums.
collection you wouldn't believe, and I can't remember
In
which one.
fact, I've showed some of my
Right,
record
yeah.
collections. on
Some of our
Facebook.
And if
Pass,
I
I'll
can
tag that
come
one.
across it or find it, it was When I'm 21 and Streets.
No.
Streets of Sin.
Streets of Sin and Love Kick.
Yeah, Love Kick.
Okay.
Yeah, and I thought it was great.
That's what they said. They would like to just, play a little of it on one of the videos.
You also
and
did When I'm 21. I have that one too.
Yeah, but that was on tape.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was on a record.
So, talking about your teen years, this is still some of Sharon Dean's questions. She said, for Joe and Billy, both vice versa, was it love at first sight when you met? And what was it about the other one that took your breath away? So what was it for you about him and him about you?
Well, when we first met, I've told before that I had known him back, and I thought he was kind of, and I didn't like him at first, but that when I first met him, that's not true.
I didn't like me either, Tage.
But I did. A boy that was in my homeroom, Mike Mosby, introduced us.
Okay.
And Billy was like the rebel of the high school, and everybody, I had never met him, but he was we went to Whitehaven School, and it was huge, so there was a lot of people. But I never dated anybody else. In fact, I never really went out on a date by myself with anybody except Billy my whole life. And we met, and I didn't know, that was, somebody went with me to a fairgrounds one time, but my older sister that I had and her husband took us, and then my best friend and her boyfriend, they just took us, but the guy that I went was not my boyfriend. It was just somebody to go that, don't get me started on all your girlfriends. But yes, it was.
And
I don't know.
names?
I think it was those big old brown eyes or something that did it for me. But that's it. We've been together since then, and I was 13 or 14 years old, and I didn't really date at that time. He came over to my house to see me for about, 6 months before my daddy would ever
Yep.
Okay,
But,
it's your turn.
Well, like she said,
This
Mike
better be
Mosby,
good.
We were up on the second level. Whitehaven, it had 2 levels of,
Upstairs and
classrooms, upstairs and down room, but it had this little hall you had to go down, and on this one section, you could look over and see down. And when I saw Joe guy, I just, thought, my goodness, prettiest girl in high school. And so I asked Mike Mosby, I said, who is that? And he said, that's a girl named Joe Norris. And I said, do you know her? He said, well, she's, in my homeroom. He said, don't know her real well. I said, well, would you at least, introduce me to her? And he did, and that's how we, but that was my first look, and from there on it was love.
That was it.
Yeah, that was it for us. Yeah, shut up.
Hush, Wanda.
Wanda.
All right.
Don't dispute me ever again when I'm telling a story.
All right.
Wanga,
Wanga.
Going to wrap this one up on that, and next video get started on more questions. I've got a whole list of them we're gonna
I gotta say a
go
couple
through,
of things.
but
though.
you got a couple of shout outs. And
I wanted to acknowledge our sign
Oh, yeah.
that
yes.
Lainey made for us about a while back, a good while back when she was
Probably
younger.
two,
But
3 years
we thought
ago.
that was
Yeah.
really good. And I want to say hello to Monica and Russell.
And Russell.
And I wanted to say hello to Bobby and Tammy, but we answered one of Bobby's questions. So, and I still love my rooster picture and all the stuff too that Bobby and Tammy sent me. But Monica, we were sorry to hear about your puppy and your dog, and I know how that feels. I lost my Baba that I had for 14 years, and it hurts. But just wanted to get that out, and I enjoy your letters so much. So,
All right.
Yep.
With that,
What do we always say?
Elvis Fans Matter.